The Story of Death, the Terracotta Army in Qin Dynasty. During the Warring State period, the Qin state had become the most powerful of the 7 states in China. Having incredible military strength, Emperor Qin conquered all the surrounding states and became the first emperor of the unified China. Although he had control over the entire nation, he seemed powerless in the face of death. What comes to your mind first when you think of the word death? Is it destination? Is it relief? Or perhaps is it the end of human experience? For ancient Chinese, death was the entrance into their afterlives, another world that is full of joy. Now, let time travel back to 221 BC. Having a strong belief in afterlife, Emperor Qin started the construction of his 13,900-acre underground mausoleum right after taking the throne. The construction period lasted for 38 years, and it remained unfinished at the time of the emperor's death. Among all the burial objects in Emperor Qin's mausoleum, the Terracotta Army was the best representation of ancient Chinese death culture. The construction required 700,000 workers, including skilled sculptors. On every terracotta soldier, the name of the sculptor was carved. If any part of the warrior broke or looked unrealistic, the sculptor would get punished. Every life-size soldier figurine was built in great detail, including different hairstyles, costumes, facial expressions, standing gestures, and even the textures of their palms. Each soldier was holding weapons that were as capable of spilling blood as anything Qin's real army wielded during the war. The entire army was made up of 8,000 Portarian figurines, 130 chariots, and 770 horses. The Grand Army was constructed to accompany the emperor into his afterlife and offer him protection. Having ambition throughout his life, Emperor Qin worried all his effort would tear apart after he died. So, every block of soldiers faced different directions for the purpose of preventing rebellions from the surrounding states he had incorporated into his own. After all, Emperor Qin didn't order the construction of the Terracotta Army for ritual purposes. Instead, he did so out of his sincere belief that his soldiers were going to protect him even in another strange world. Now, many people criticize Emperor Qin for wasting resources and funds of the nation on preparing for his death. However, despite all the expenses spent on Terracotta Army, it demonstrated the well-developed technologies in ancient China. It exposed to us the secret of the greatest dynasty in Chinese history. Here are some evidences of Qin Dynasty's advanced manufacturing techniques. Even though death practices have evolved through the long course of history, Chinese people's firm belief in afterlife has never changed. Indeed, people no longer build palaces or armies for the deceased. However, rituals intended to allow the deceased to have a comfortable afterlife are now performed at Chinese funerals. Typically, family of the deceased burns clothes and spirit money at the end of the funeral, because the deceased would need them to survive in their afterlives. Ultimately, Chinese people's beliefs in afterlife ease their pain and rest their souls as they gradually approach the end of their lives.